Yep.
All right. Hello again, everybody.
Hello,
Today
hello.
we are entering the discussion. Um, know what you have. Know what you have. Go on, Dom. Elaborate on that one. You started it.
I did start it, yes. Specifically, what I mean is know that you have a living being that you're responsible
Wow,
for.
that is a good
Um,
start.
and then broadening from that, knowing the type of dog, um, but really knowing the type of dog that's
Yeah.
not. Um, what I mean by that is, there's a general opinion where there are certain breeds, let's say oodles, for my main example, that are sold as the perfect family dog.
Yeah.
And that is then seen as and I'm generalizing and I'm not trying to point fingers at anybody, but maybe it's just a misconception or misinterpretation of what people believe a perfect family dog is. But what I see a lot of is they have an expectation that the oodle, whatever, predominantly the smaller ones, your cavoodles and mini groodles, um, don't need the same mental stimulation. They don't need the same training, but they're also manhandled by little people,
And big people.
um, and big people. And there's an expectation of that the dog should just be okay with it because they're the perfect family dog.
Yeah.
Um, so I think, yeah, in broader terms, know that you have a living being and that you have to take responsibility for that. The responsibility is solely on you, not on the dog.
Mm.
Um, and when it comes to breed specifics, that just because the advertisement says,
Yeah. Well, that's it. Like the advertisement is a massive part of the problem, but also, well, yeah, that's where it stems from. Like when I was talking to my old team members about this, one of the first thing I said to them, all of them, every single one of them was, when they're starting off, know your breeds, know your breeds, and I don't mean go and Google because Google's full of crap. But Google is your stereotype of what the public thinks, not necessarily what is accurate. And it is those advertisements. It's like, how is this breed advertised? Like high energy. I I like to pick it apart, right? If I go, okay, if I read high energy, my default is to go, can't settle. Brilliant.
yeah.
Or like highly loyal, doesn't like strangers.
Mm,
Yeah. Like I think of what is the if I could read a Google description, I will then go, all right, what is the antithesis of this? Right? Like because
yeah.
they're trying to what I found with the Google, and I'm using the Google as a
Like
general
the,
thing. But like what I found with breed descriptions typically is that what they're doing is selling the best attributes. It's not a representation of what they were bred for or and what that means. Um, you know, highly focused, brilliant, like very trainable, cool. That's hyper attachment, brilliant. Um, like won't be able to tolerate you patting another dog. Um, right.
but I mean, the prime word there is selling.
Yeah, they are. That's it. That's what they're
It's,
doing.
it's marketing. It's like, yeah, they market a pair of pants and go, everyone, your butt will look great in these pants. In a general sense, on
Yeah,
anybody,
yeah,
everybody's butt look good in these pants. Um, yeah, it doesn't specify. They are general, and as we've spoken about for years, and you see it in with other trainers, we can't when we put labels on them, it puts a general understanding of what that might mean.
Yeah.
So loyal, people will go, oh, great, cool. Like the dog's going to love me. And
I
as you
love
said,
loyalty.
super loyal dogs, yeah, super loyal dogs. But if we're looking at in a guardian breed, that means they will hyper attach and they will be very suspicious of strangers, which means you might get behavioral repertoires that will be someone comes into the house and the dog's like, I don't know you, big guy.
Yeah. Loyal, naturally skeptical, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like or like um calm and placid, strong freeze response,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Very, very submissive.
Yeah, like these things, they didn't come out of nowhere, and the breeds themselves, the guard dogs, they would be shit guard dogs if they weren't skeptical. They would be,
Mhm.
and like then like, but I always ask the team to dive deeper. What was the way they did their job? Like uh, a Maremma was a livestock guardian, but it was never bred to work with people. It was bred to work alone. So when people are like, the Maremma won't listen, you reckon? You you think like or like or like a
But see,
terrier?
that
Go on.
no, well, just when you just in terms of that, like with like your guardian breeds and some of your bull breeds, they're like, oh, they're just stubborn.
Well,
Well,
I, I had a call earlier. My French bulldog. Once they've started, they just won't stop. Yeah, it's a bulldog. It
mhm.
might be French. You know, he might be wearing a little beret and have a really, really big cigarette, but like he is still a bulldog. And they were bred to not quit. Um,
Yeah,
hence the term, he's a bit of a bulldog. Um,
yeah,
you know, the terriers. We look at like the predatory sequence. Like the border collie was bred to be interrupted. To interrupt the predatory sequence of like once you start looking at something, look back. Cool. Otherwise, those sheep that you're working, that you were bred to work with, they're going to be harassed by you, and we can't have that. So we
yeah,
bred for a dog to be attentive to our needs and listen and work with us really, really intensely. Um, like to go back to the Maremma, you're still working around the same livestock, but completely different job, a completely different working style, completely different dog, completely different way of communicating. Um, with the terrier, we didn't breed to interrupt the predatory sequence. Go and do the job. I don't want to see you till it's done. And
mm.
people are like, he doesn't listen to me. No, he wasn't bred to. He was bred to actually ignore you. If you're getting in the way, he's going to get very fucking annoyed at you.
And
Right.
especially with a lot of the dogs like your Maremas that are still used for their original purpose. Your terriers, like your Jack Russells, I mean, they're still sold in country areas in Australia
Mhm.
as Russells. So when you see some of these little Jack Russells that are sold as the perfect lap dog, they're not meant to be lap dogs. And yes, they're going to bugger off on you. And yes, if they find a rat, good luck. I remember I worked with this woman who she had bought a Jack Russell from a farm of ratters, moved into her house in Wallara, and a house down the road was being demolished, and
Yeah.
rats were around.
Yeah.
And this little dog, all of 12 weeks,
Yeah.
was out on the patio. A rat ran across the patio. This dog caught the rat, killed it, and then never wanted to leave the patio. So that was just she just found her niche. She was like, "Oh, this is what I was made for,"
I was
and she
bred for
would not.
Wallara.
Yeah, yeah. She would not come inside
Yeah.
because she was like, "This is where I'm meant to be,
Yeah.
and this is what I got." And the woman didn't quite understand why it was so difficult to get the dog to come inside. She goes, she's just obsessed. Like she runs around the pool and she's constantly looking. And it's like, well, let's think about where you got this dog from. Her parents, this is her job.
Yeah.
They've passed down the information to this little thing, and she doesn't know anything else. Like, this is her life, this is her existence. So, this, she's like, oh, I just want her to come and sit on my lap. The dog didn't, she wasn't a tactile dog. She just like, no, 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 I'm good. You do
Yeah,
you. I'll do me.
yeah,
And when you feed me, cool, I'll come and eat and then I'm going to check out.
yeah. Yeah, like your classic one, and they've become really popular again, is your spaniels. Like my spaniel won't walk next to me on the lead. Oh yeah, yeah. They're bred to do a zigzag movement. They flush. They go into bushes, they flush birds out, and then they go back, and then they flush the next bush, and they zigzag. And they've got their nose down, and that's what we bred them to do for a very, 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 very long time. And you want your dog to walk like a Malinois that you saw on an advert from some dickhead with a collar, fucking frog marching with his nose up like this. No,
Yeah.
it's a different fucking dog. And it ain't happening. You ain't it's like you could probably get your Springer to do that, but they would hate you for it, and it would be very inconsistent that they might do it. Um,
But you're also stunting at its
well, the,
behavioral needs as a spaniel. So you would get symptoms of other things popping out everywhere else because it's just not getting what it needs. You're blocking that behavior.
and this is where our role comes in because we need to. I'm not saying we need to let our terriers go kill rats and Springers go kill birds or anything like that, but we need to provide outlets that satisfy the need in some way that is safe and appropriate. But we also, on the other end of the scale, need to provide structure so that they can understand when it's appropriate to do that green light, red light. Like, mate, you're off duty. Go, like, you're inside, you're not ratting, go and lay down.
Mm,
When we're outside, it doesn't mean we're going ratting immediately. Work with me. And this is the thing that I think a lot of people do. They're one extreme or the other. They're either blocking the avenue of the really important outlet for them, or
mm,
they lean into it so heavily that they don't incorporate like an off duty. It's like as soon as you leave the house, you're on. And it's not like the I hate it is right. The permission to do it didn't come through them. It came through an environmental cue. We left the house.
yeah.
If I'm walking with my Springer gun dog, like they love to run ahead and flush and chase. But a lot of it is you're going to get to do it, but not yet, buddy. Not yet.
Mhm.
Wait there. Walk with me. Walk at my pace. And the reward for doing so, there's not a lot of immediate gratification. Walk with me, mate. You've got this. Got this. Ready? Okay, go. And that permission to go and be the best version of themselves is so rewarding. And if just like anything in life, it feels better because they've had to work for it. But the moment you go, we've left the house, you get to be a gun dog, then then you're really working on like, oh God, I've got to get this dog back under control. Whereas it should be the inverse. It's like, hey man, like, can you not work yet?
Well, yeah. I mean, when I see people who have different working breeds, and let's say, for an example, border collies. Now, I tell anyone that has a border collie, look up border collie herding, like competitive border collie herding, to watch what border collies really do, because it's very little running.
Yeah.
It's very little running, and their movements are contingent on the handler.
Mm.
So they move when the handler tells them. Kelpies, different.
This is it. Like
Paddles,
the
different.
movement cue, the release should come from the human because like mine back in England was a gun dog, and this is what like surrounded by it growing up. But that bird that just went and chased that dog that went and chased the birds before the people were ready, God, it was fucking annoying.
Mm.
Like you know,
But it
like
wouldn't it wouldn't stay around
no,
on a farm. They get rid of it,
no, exactly, and
unfortunately.
that's the dog. That dog that lacks impulse control and lacks the training is the ones that are getting sold to the household, right, in the city. And so that dog needs more work. That dog needs more
Yep.
help, not less. Um, it's the same with the Jack Russells. Like when I was a kid, I've told this story before, but we used to cycle around from farm to farm with the Jack Russells and take them ratting. But if they just ran it without us being ready, well then the we weren't worth the money we were being paid. by the farmers, because we get nothing done. So we had to
Mm.
set it up and then we give them a release. Okay, now go to work. And no, they didn't mind waiting. In fact, they got such a better reward because they got to kill more rats. Right? Um, but it was it was mutually beneficial to build in the communication of not yet, buddy. Wait there. You got this. Wait there. Build up the anticipation to do the amazing thing. Just don't give it away for free.
Well, and I think that's the word you just used there is the anticipation, right? So the creating the anticipation of prediction of what the behavior is and what the following reinforcer will be. So if you're using rudders, it is like them, oh my God, I love this sit. I know what this sit means. I know what this sit means. It's amazing. So you will get a better performing dog because, and as well as using that impulse control, right? And you see it in, all of the videos that go around. Yes, with Malinois and whatnot, they are like they've got massive impulse control, but that's trained.
Yeah.
People see the trained bit. What people should be looking at is puppy Malinois. Those things are assholes.
Yeah.
Absolutely no impulse control. They also have absolutely no inhibitions and they're tenacious as hell.
Well, I think that's what people see is so I'll go back to the spaniels. They see the puppy spaniel running and they go, oh shit, I've got to keep up with this spaniel. It's a high energy dog. And because they read it on fucking Google and and they go, right,
Google that.
Google's not my friend today. Um, but like they try to keep up with the dog. And the dog, I, the analogy I've been using recently is like, if we were in a car, I would not let that fucking dog drive. Like, you know,
No, no, because basically what you've got is that dog's on drugs,
yeah, he's nuts.
right? So that the dopamine shooting through that dog's system is making it high. Their ability to properly focus. So those types of dogs can't focus. Those types of dogs would not be used as in the working line because they haven't defined the focus and the job that they're actually doing. They are doing something because they feel a need to, but they have absolutely no idea why. There is no outcome.
Yeah,
There is no start, middle, and an end. So when you were talking about the predatory sequence before, a sequence to the final outcome
yeah,
that all those dogs are with, all working dogs have in some way, shape, or form that have been broken down by selective breeding. So, like with the border collies, stalk, chase, that's it. It's
yeah.
not stalk, chase, grab, dissect,
That's
eat.
right. Like, I mean, maybe the general public isn't across this, but border collies that grab and nip, they've taken it too far. And they're not the ones that get pushed through to the really good working dogs. They're the ones that go, well, you know what, we probably need to not have him around sheep, or we need to work really hard. But the farmer won't. The farmer will go, look, I need a better working dog. So
Yep. They're not worth putting the time in for that particular job. So yeah, the predatory sequence is see, stalk, chase, grab, dissect, eat. That was the original with your wild dogs and wild wolves. Then humans went, oh, that could be quite beneficial. And over time, with the different breeds that we have, they have selectively bred by seeing different traits in the different breeds, the breeds that we see. So if you look at the different herding breeds, your border collies, your kelpies, and your cattles, just for the Australian side, the differentiation between those three dogs and their jobs. Now, they all came from, like all the way back when, the same animal, but over generations, we have seen certain traits and gone, we like that one, we're going to continue to breed that.
yeah, it's really useful around
Now,
sheep, or less useful around sheep, and more useful around cows.
yeah. Now, what is a problem these days with the breeds, going back to our oodles, is they're not being bred for temperament
Yeah.
or use. They are purely being bred for aesthetics. And that's where the problem lies.
But you cannot breed, and we've studied this same course of when we studied ethology, you cannot breed the traits out by breeding for aesthetics. And this is
Yeah.
why it doesn't matter what your dog looks like. If your dog has fundamental needs as a breed, as a dog, and individual personality traits that need to be met. They're just like you said right at the start, know what you have, get to know it, and get the balance right.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're looking at the cavoodles, okay, Cavalier. Now, Cavalier is a type of spaniel.
Yeah, my Cavalier is very cocker-like.
Oh, God, yeah. He loves a run. He loves a sniff. He'll chase a bird.
Yeah,
So then you've got the cab, those, or the spaniels, let's just say spaniels, because people instantly go, oh, Cavalier King Charles, they were bred as lap dogs. Yes, but do you know whether that's what you've got? Because and then you've got poodles, a working breed,
super movement
also
sensitive.
extremely movement sensitive, sensitive just in general,
Yeah.
bless them, super smart, high energy, as we said before, but they're being sold as these little
Well, this is it. Like,
handbags.
I was working, it's just reminded me of a client I was working with recently. So they've got two cavoodles. One of them's older and he's your classic kind of, he is your family. Like you would, he blends into a really simple family life in that he's not that high energy. He would probably be, if you could ca create a dog that the pet stores marketed it as, he would fit it, right? And so this family, they thought they'd hit the jackpot. They go, cavoodles are great. They're exactly what they say on the tin. And this guy, wonderful, like really easy to live with dog. And they got another one a few years later, and then we got another call, go back out and meet them. And instantly, I'm like, you got a working dog. He's tiny. He's a fraction of the size. Like the original one is like standard size. This new guy, tiny little thing, absolute toy size. Like, we're talking like 2 kilos of dog. Tiny. But the little fella is an absolute working dog. So when we actually laid in some structure around how to work, more of a spaniel than a poodle, my God, this dog was so happy. Working his little socks off, running around, social, happy, interactive. All of his needs were met. But
Mm.
because and he wouldn't look like it, right? You can say 2 kilos of cavoodle, and you think you think this is know, you don't think I've got to work this dog, but well, I feel lucky that we got there as a puppy because
Yeah.
he was already starting without the work. He was starting to get frustrated. He was starting to, I don't want to say anxious because I think it was frustration, but the frustration was driving anxiety.
Yeah.
So, and it was just coming out in vocalization. It was coming out in noticing everything and alert barking. But that's
Mm.
not because he was anxious. It was because he's like, I just need to fucking do something. I need to
Yeah.
do something. And his little brain was bored shitless.
It would be a little brain for 2 kilos. It'd be like this big.
Yeah, yeah. But so cool. Such a cool dog. And like all of a sudden, this little 2 kilo dog is like out walking and loving it.
Mm.
And it's a robust little thing. But you wouldn't pick it necessarily with just like looking at it on paper.
Yeah. Well, I think, yeah, and a lot of the very first of the oodles, um, yeah, they're very different to a lot of the ones that are coming out now.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very
But
different. Very, very different.
behaviorally,
Yeah.
um,
Well, it's like
they don't.
a lot of those lines that were bred for therapy dogs. I'm not going to throw any names out there, but a lot of lines that were originally bred for therapy dogs, they're the ones in therapy these days. Um,
Yeah.
they're highly sensitive dogs now. Because I don't know why, but like the proof's in the pudding. We see so many of them.
Yeah, look, I mean that's a whole nother podcast in itself, talking about, what's being bred these days, and the travesty of what you and I would be seeing in terms of the temperaments of these poor dogs. It's really, really, really frustrating.
Yeah.
And it's the dogs and the poor owners that are unknowingly taking these poor things on, because yeah, I'm sure you would see it probably more so than me, but the extremes of behaviors these days, which you didn't see 10 years ago, and it wasn't so common.
No, I'm walking into jobs these days when I'm working with a puppy, and like it's happened 3 times this year, but only 3 times this year where I've been like, oh God, your puppy is actually really resilient.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's not all that common. It's really bloody cool to see, but it should be the norm.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, that's maybe
There's
as we'll
another
talk.
podcast. On that
We
note,
can talk. Yes.
we will leave it there. But that was fun. Know what you're
Mm.
getting yourself into. Don't take Google's word for what you have. Really look into your breed, breed's background, what they were bred for, but also the way they worked, the way that they worked, not just the job they did. The function of that they did. Like your German Shepherd's gonna sound the alarm while moving forward when guarding. Your Mastiff will stand back, but they're both guarding, right? So
Yeah, I mean, you'd probably be better off looking at things, I suppose, maybe YouTube rather than Google, of, working, German Shepherds working.
yeah,
Um, but also remembering that what you're seeing when you see that sort of stuff is those dogs have probably had a shitload of training and work put into them.
yeah,
Like, it's not that these, you get the odd dog that naturally they just know what to do, but impulse control is something that is learned over time through experience, because you build it. Same with humans, we have to build it. We're not born with it. Ask any parent, Ian, I'm sure.
I literally just love it. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Um,
Still not great at it myself.
Yeah, look, we all have our moments, but when you get a living thing, it is your responsibility to know what you have and help them, and prevention over cure, rather than going, "Oh, I've got this and I've Googled it and I saw on TikTok," which I keep hearing, um, because it takes you a hell of a lot longer to undo a behavior if you rather than just putting the foundations in the beginning.
Absolutely.
Please, people.
Absolutely. All right, mate. We're going to leave it there. Thank you very much. And we'll see you later, everyone. Have a good day.